Okay, hello, this is Tamika, a new me, 1109, November 9th, 2009. That's the day I had lap band surgery. So that would be 2 whole years ago. So I ran into my 2nd year bandiversary a couple days ago. Today is the 14th. So that would have been the 9th. Was so excited. And you know what? What I did this time was, this anniversary was a little different than the first one. The first year I did a lot of before and after pictures and comparison shots and things like that. Those were exciting. In fact, on the 9th of November this year, I did a lot of reflecting. I was pretty quiet on Facebook. I was just sort of reflecting on this whole journey and what it has been to me and what it has meant to me and what I have learned. And so I spent some time on my channel, just in the insight section on YouTube, and I saw that my #1 most viewed video was when I hit my 10-month surgery. And I sort of did a before and after. Maybe in the annotations I'll put a link to that video. 15,000 and like 800 and something views. And what that taught me was that people are interested in seeing the transformation. People are, interested in actually seeing something that is factual. When you are able to see what a person looked like at 288 pounds, and then you're able to see what they look like at 156 pounds, you're like, oh, you're either thinking, it does work. So for a lot of people who are pre-ops, or people who are newbies, I understand when you see videos like that, you're actually able to see the facts of the fact that this does work. Now, I can tell you it does. I can tell you that my highest weight was 288 pounds. And my weight today is under my comfortable weight. And my comfortable weight is 156 pounds. So my original goal weight was 170 pounds. And so by the time I got to, it was either, I think it was 9 months. Yeah, I think I met goal at 9 months. I got on the scale as 168. And so I had passed my goal and didn't even realize it because I fell out of love with the scale. And that's one thing that, one piece of advice that I could share with people is, for some people, weighing daily is okay and it doesn't do anything with you emotionally. For me, I realized at some point that I was one of those people that my emotions were driven and led by what the scale said. And so as I was losing weight, if it was going in the right direction, there were times when I let that slip away from me, and I'd get too into myself and think, oh, well, I can relax a little bit because these numbers are going good. And the opposite of that is there were times when I would look at the scale and it wasn't moving at all, and I would become demotivated because I felt like I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And it would just become depressing. And so after I realized that the scale, that little object, was having so much control and sending me through so many different emotions, I realized that I needed to break up with it. I needed to fall out of love with it. And so I can honestly say that, on Facebook, I will from time to time do a scale accountability check-in just for, accountability's sake. And I'll put the number in. I have an album over there called Never Going Back. And I'll put a scale shot in there from time to time. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't necessarily get on the scale that much at all. I can feel at this point when something is off. So if I go even 2 4 pounds off heavy, I can feel it in my body. And then I'll jump on the scale and, you know, it'll sort of be confirmation. And I'll go, okay, what do I need to do? Hey, basics, right? I need to make sure I'm drinking my water. I need to make sure I'm getting my protein in, make sure that I'm moving my body as much as I can. And so that's a little bit about the scale. Now, so I didn't tell you how much I weigh. So I'm in the 40s now, and I'm not necessarily feeling too. I'm personally not feeling too good about that, because it's not anything that's intentional, and it's not anywhere that I necessarily completely want to be. And it's because of my health. So I've been in a MS relapse for 3 weeks now, and it has really put me in a situation where I can't eat and drink as much as I need to be eating and drinking sometimes, because I have trigeminal neuralgia, and that's flared up. Sometimes even talking hurts. I'm full of medication right now. That's why I'm able to move my mouth. And so, you know, being in this flare, you know, again, it has not put my weight. So I have not shown on the scale what my weight is, because it's not true. It's not really a true representation of where I'm at. I didn't do anything to go down 10 more pounds. It is, you know, the fact that I cannot do the things that I truly believe I'm supposed to do, and that's eating 3 meals a day and getting my protein in and getting my water in and all of that stuff. So since I'm sick, we're not going to talk about it. But what I do want you to know is that I am where I need to be. I haven't gained any weight. And so that's a good thing. And, you know, another thing that I sort of want to mention from time to time is one thing that sort of, sometimes I can be honest. I really think I need to be transparent in this moment. But one thing that keeps me from doing YouTube videos sometimes with my MS is from time to time I'm on IV steroids and oral steroids. So I'm on Solumadrol or prednisone. And anybody who's familiar with those two medications knows that one of the side effects that happens is it can create some puffiness in your face. And so sometimes, you know, I don't want to sit here and people look at, like, you know, maybe a video from last year in October this time, my face was thinner than it is right now. I see that, I know that, but I weigh the same. I weigh less, actually. But it is, you know, the effects of my medication. Now, my friends and loved ones, when I say to them, does my face look puffy? They're like, no, your face doesn't look puffy, girl, you're crazy. But I feel as though my face is a little puffy. And so when you're looking at my videos, don't be thrown off. Know that I have MS. Know that I, from time to time, am pumped full of 1,000 milligrams of steroids just last week, 3 days straight. And then I had to, you know, taper off with oral steroids. So know that sometimes my face might look a little different. And it's not because I've gained any weight. It's because of the medication that I have to take from time to time. So that's one of the sort of vanity things that keeps me away from making videos from time to time. But let me go ahead and give you a little bit of meat within all of this fluff. If I could look back over the last 2 years and think about the one single most important thing that I could share with a fellow lap bander, it would be, and I mentioned this the other day in Facebook, make sure that you don't live in a place of being overfilled. I lived there at some point the first year after, so this would be, I had surgery in 2009, and so by the time I got to June 2010, I was at 7 cc's. And I thought I was at my sweet spot. I thought that was where I was supposed to be. But I didn't know any better. And I had gotten to a point where I was too tight. Right now I'm about 5. A little under 5. And I've been that just a little over 5. So I think I'm like 5 point, I don't know, not even a point something. Just a little teeny bit over 5. And that's a really good place for me. But I had to learn the hard way. It was a June, and I was at 7 cc's, and I thought that was great because I could, eat a couple bites of food, and I thought, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I wasn't able to eat good solid proteins, and I found myself inadvertently, sort of, I don't know how and when it happened, but I was just eating slider foods, and I was making more and more soups. And I thought that's where I was supposed to be and how I was supposed to live my life. And that is, looking back on that, and it took the physician assistant who does my fields to show me a few months later, to show me, when you got to that point, you were losing, and when you got to that point, you hit a wall. And I had been saying to him, I want to go back to 7 cc's, that was a good place. And he had to actually show me on the graph. I stalled out, and I wasn't at my goal weight just yet. I didn't get to my goal until August. But he showed me when I was right there, I didn't lose any weight at all for the most part in June. And then I got some fluid taken out, and again, ultimately, I got some more taken out. So back to my advice, don't think that you're supposed to be in a place where you're eating 1 or 2 bites of food and you're full, or a place where you cannot eat any solid protein. I can tell you it's miserable to be in that place. And I can tell you that as a lap bander, 2 years out, I can eat the amount of food that I'm supposed to eat. I can eat it without PBing. I can feel normal. And that's a little tricky because, I don't ever want to not know that I have a device in my stomach to keep me from not being able, I have a tool to keep me from not being able to eat a large amount of food. I don't want to ever forget that. But it's nice to be able to go out to a restaurant and order something that's within your, yes, I can eat this food list, and eat it, and not be afraid that you're going to have to get up and run and go to the bathroom and PB, or you're not going to be able to sit there and enjoy your family. That's not a good place to be. It's not a healthy place to be. And I can tell you that you don't have to be there in order to either, 1, lose your weight and get to your goal, or 2, be able to be at your goal and stay at your goal. You don't have to be too tight in order for those things to happen. So make sure that if you're ever at a point where you're feeling like, you can't eat protein. You just can't eat protein outside of like tuna full of mayonnaise. That's not about the right thing. If you're at that place where you can't eat food, or you can't eat anything outside of soups or oatmeals or slider foods, you shouldn't live in Sliderville. And if you are at that place, make sure that you don't hesitate to get back to your doctor and get some fluid removed from your band. It doesn't take that in order to be successful. And that's not what our band is intended to be. It's not what our lives are supposed to be, being banded. So that's my one biggest piece of advice that I want to share. Being 2 years out, I was there at some point, and I didn't understand. I didn't know what good restriction meant. I didn't know what being at a green zone, or being at your, what do they call it, your sweet spot. I didn't really know what it meant outside of looking on a chart and reading all about it. I didn't really know what it meant. It doesn't mean that. So make sure that you address that if you get to that point. I was in Facebook earlier today, and I was like, I ate just a block of vlog block. Like, I didn't know really what to talk about. See, from last year until this year, there aren't any great big different pictures. I'm at the same wait. Nothing big is changing visually that you can see outside of, you know, unlike the first year where I was changing and I was morphing and I was turning into a different person. That, you know, once you get past that, it's a different place to live. And I'm going to make another video, Bandit Wendy, Proof Weight Loss Surgery Works, YouTube and Facebook. She asked a question last week and I said, you know what, that's an awesome question and that's great vlog material. So I will answer that in another video coming up. I want to let you all know, again, my highest weight was 288. Got past my goal weight of 170. It happened. It worked for me. I've been living in maintenance for, 16 months now. Everything's great and groovy. Outside of my MS, which, again, if you don't know, I was diagnosed with MS 4 months after being banded. And so that has created another piece of stuff that I have to work through and deal with. So, and that's going to be video coming up number 3. All right, thanks for viewing, and I shall see you guys later. Bye.